The Ohio Shakespeare Quarantine Radio Program starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Avon Corto, and welcome to the Ohio Shakespeare Quarantine Radio Program, where we produce original works based on classic stories for your at-home entertainment. So grab your quarantine pal, your favorite adult beverage, or maybe a glass of chocolatey Ovaltine for the kiddos, and settle in for some old-fashioned radio play spookums. Tonight's holiday tale is based on the classic novella by Charles Dickens, adapted for our radio program by Nancy Cates. It is sure to remind us that everything we say and do in life, no matter how small, can add up into unexpected consequences. Joining us tonight from the Ohio Shakespeare Festival Company are Tess Burgler as Scrooge, Jeremy Jenkins as Young Scrooge, Amanda Vigneault as Belle, Geoffrey Darling as Mr. Fezziwig, Jan Guarino as the Ghost of Christmas Past, Andreas Varner-Waltz as Boy Scrooge, EmJay Ross as Fan, James Rankin as Dick, and Holly Humes as the narrator. Previously on A Christmas Carol.
Marley was dead, to begin with. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I am going to relate.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle! God save you!
Ah, humbug!
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I am sure.
I do. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and bedded with a stake of holly through his heart. Marley's ghost. Dreadful apparition. Why do you trouble me?
I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate, a chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
If you decide to return from the dead to haunt your former business partner so that he changes his life for the good, you better make sure your soap is ready to cross the veil into the land of the living. Our friends at the Macbeth can help with that.
Gee, Mabel, you sure got a real tight grip on that Christmas tree there.
It's the sap, Elma. I'm stuck. Go get the soap.
But this is that really nice soap from the Macbeth.
Well, it's still great soap, Elma. Oh, no, but not that one. That's a gift set for Aunt Mildred.
You got the soap as a gift.
Oh, yes. Macbeth offers loads of gift sets for the holiday season. Soaps, tinted lip balms, bath bombs, lotions, and face masks. And they can all be gift wrapped before they ship to save you all that runaround and hullabaloo.
Well, that sounds super helpful, seeing as we can't see Mildred this year because of the typhoid fever, which definitely isn't a stand-in for a less contemporaneous epidemic. But they still all have themes from your favorite classic works of literature. I know that's a deal breaker for Mildred.
You bet they do. Gift sets themed around the Grinch, the Polar Express, and A Christmas Carol make a cozy holiday present. Ah, wonderful. My hands are clean as a whistle now.
Well, glad to help. I'll let you get back to decorating that tree and all the rest of the Christmas shopping and housework and childcare.
Well, thank heavens for the Macbeth. Find something for even the most bedraggled of bibliophiles at themacbeth.com. That's THEMACBATH.com.
And now, Ohio Shakespeare Festival presents Stave 2 of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
When Scrooge awoke, his room was so black that his eyes could not pierce the darkness, so he listened for the hour.
10? 11? 12? It is impossible. It was past 2 when I went to bed. I can't have slept the whole day through and far into another night.
Scrooge thought and thought, over and over and over, and could make nothing of it. The more he thought, the more perplexed he was, and the more he endeavored not to think, the more he thought. Marley's ghost bothered him exceedingly. Every time he resolved within himself that it was all a dream, his mind flew back again and presented the same problem to be worked through. Was it a dream or not? Scrooge lay in this state until the clock had chimed all the quarters of the hour, and he remembered on a sudden that the ghost had warned him of a visitation when the bell tolled 1. He resolved to lie awake until the hour was past, and considering that he could no more go to sleep than go to heaven, this was perhaps the wisest resolution in his power.
Ah! The hour itself, and nothing! Oh!
Light flashed up in the room upon the instant, and the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them. It was a strange figure. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. It wore robes of the purest white, with a great fur hood, and round its waist was bound a lustrous belt, the sheen of which was beautiful. In its hand it held a branch of fresh green holly. But the strangest thing about it was that from the crown of its head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light, by which all this was visible, and which was doubtless the occasion for its use.
Are you the spirit, pray, whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
Your light is blinding, spirit. Pray cover it. Put up your hood.
What, would you so soon put out with worldly hands the light I give? Is it not enough that you are one of those whose passions made this cap and forced me through whole trains of years to wear it low upon my brow?
I mean no offence, nor have I any knowledge of having wilfully bonneted you at any time. But pray, what is your business with me?
Your welfare.
A night of unbroken rest would do more for my welfare.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed.
As it spoke, the ghost put out a hand and clasped Scrooge by the arm.
Rise and walk with me.
It would have been in vain for Scrooge to plead that the weather and the hour were not adapted to pedestrian purposes, that bed was warm and the thermometer a long way below freezing, that he was clad but lightly in his slippers, dressing gown, and nightcap. The grasp, though gentle, was not to be resisted. He rose, but finding that the spirit made towards the window, clasped his robe in supplication.
But I am mortal, spirit, and liable to fall.
The spirit laid a hand upon his heart.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either side. The city had entirely vanished. Not a vestige of it was to be seen. The darkness and the mist had vanished with it, for it was a clear, cold winter day with snow upon the ground.
Good heaven! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
The spirit gazed upon him mildly. Its gentle touch, though it had been light and instantaneous, appeared still present to the old man's sense of feeling. He was conscious of 1,000 odors floating in the air, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and cares, long, long forgotten.
Let us go on. Do you recollect the way?
Remember it? I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years.
They walked along the road, Scrooge recognizing every gate and post and tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance, with its bridge, its church, and winding river. Some shaggy ponies now were seen trotting towards them with boys upon their backs, who called to other boys in country gigs and carts driven by farmers.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
All these boys were in great spirits and shouted to each other until the broad fields were so full of merry music that the crisp air laughed to hear it.
Hello, boys. Hello there.
These are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us.
The jocund travellers came on, and as they came, Scrooge knew and named them every one.
Peter. Albert.
Why was he rejoiced beyond all bounds to see them? Why did his cold eye glisten and his heart leap up as they went past?
Hello, lads.
Why was he filled with gladness when he heard them give each other Merry Christmas as they parted at crossroads and byways for their several homes?
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Out upon Merry Christmas. What good has it ever done you?
You mock me, spirit.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
A pimple, spirit, nothing more.
Come, let us see another Christmas.
They left the high road by a well-remembered lane and soon approached a mansion of dull red brick. It was a large house, but one of broken fortunes. For the spacious offices were little used, their walls were damp and mossy, their windows broken, and their gates decayed. Nor was it more retentive of its former state within, for entering the dreary hall and glancing through the open doors of many rooms, they found them poorly furnished, cold, and vast. There was an earthy savour in the air, a chilly bareness in the place, which associated itself somehow with too much getting up by candlelight, and not too much to eat. Not a latent echo in the house, not a squeak and scuffle from the mice behind the panelling, not a drip from the half-thawed waterspout in the dull yard behind, not a sigh among the leafless boughs of one despondent poplar, but fell upon the heart of Scrooge with a softening influence, and gave a freer passage to his tears. They went, the ghost and Scrooge, to a door at the back of the house. It opened before them and disclosed a long, bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines of plain deal forms and desks.
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
I know it.
At one of the desks, a lonely boy was intent upon his reading near a feeble fire, and Scrooge sat down and wept to see his poor forgotten self as he used to be. Suddenly, a man in foreign garments, wonderfully real and distinct to look at, stood outside the window with an axe stuck in his belt, and leading by the bridle an ass laden with wood.
Why, it is Ali Baba. It's dear old honest Ali Baba. Yes, I know. Oh, one Christmas time, when yonder solitary child was left here all alone, he did come for the first time, just like that. Oh, poor boy. Oh, and Valentine. And his wild brother, Orson. There they go. And oh, what's his name, who was put down in his drawers asleep at the gate of Damascus. Don't you see him? And the Sultan's groom turned upside down by the genie. There he is upon his head. Serve him right. I'm glad of it. What business had he to be married to the princess?
To hear Scrooge expending all the earnestness of his nature on such subjects in a most extraordinary voice between laughing and crying, and to see his heightened and excited face, would have been a surprise to his business friends in the city, indeed.
Ah, there's the parrot! Green body and yellow tail with a thing like lettuce growing out the top of his head. There he is. Poor Robinson Crusoe, he called him when he came home again after sailing around the island. Poor Robinson Crusoe, where have you been, Robinson Crusoe? The man thought he was dreaming, but he wasn't. It was the parrot, you know. Oh, there goes Friday, running for his life to the little creek. Hello, whoop-whoop-a-loo. Oh, poor boy. I wish. Yeah, but it's too late now.
What is the matter?
Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol at my door last night. I should have liked to have given him something, that's all.
Let us see another Christmas.
Scrooge's former self grew larger at the words, and the room became a little darker and more dirty. The panels shrank, the windows cracked. Fragments of plaster fell out of the ceiling, and the naked laths were shown instead. But how all this was brought about, Scrooge knew not. He only knew that it was quite correct, that everything had happened so, that there he was, alone again, when all the other boys had gone home for the jolly holidays.
Ebenezer! Ebenezer!
Little Fan!
Ebenezer!
Fan?
I have come to bring you home, dear brother. To bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all. Home for ever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be that home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you are never to come back here again. We're to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in all the world.
You are quite a woman, little Fan.
Always a delicate creature whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
Well, she had, you're right. I will not gainsay it, spirit. God forbid.
She died a woman and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True. Your nephew, Fred.
Yes. Fred.
If you ever find yourself rescuing someone from a boarding school, make sure your travel gear can withstand the journey. Our friends at the Buckle and Rose can help with that.
Well, how do, stranger? Welcome to the Buckle and Rose, where we make fine leather wares for work and wear.
What do you mean you make them? You mean like you make them?
Yes, sir. We go ahead, cut, color, stitch them together, all with these 10 digits.
Well, what if I'm looking for a belt or a wallet?
We got them.
Dungeons and Dragons accoutrements?
We got those too.
Armor pieces and a shield?
We got those as well.
A leather cover for my journal of private thoughts? I got some barbecue rub recipes I need to protect.
I understand. We got those, and we can even put a lock on them.
Huh. Well, what if I get a hankering for buckles or roses?
Oh, friend, we got those too. We also do commission work. Are you looking for a medieval two-piece leather bikini? How about an archery kit with a quiver and a guard? Or maybe you need a studded leather work belt.
Oh.
We can make that happen.
Well, hell. Y'all are hand-making all sorts of genuine leather goods here.
Yes, indeed. You just go to our Facebook page or visit our Etsy site, The Buckle and Rose.
What's a Etsy?
Oh, that's etsy.com/shop/The Buckle and Rose. All one word.
Y'all running any specials over there?
Well, we're always running our Pun Day paper special.
What's a paper special?
Oh, I'm going to warn you, it's pretty terrible.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Buckle and Rose on Etsy or Facebook.
From the top of your head to the tip of your toes, clad yourself in armor from the Buckle and Rose.
Wear your fiction.
And now, the conclusion of Stave 2 of A Christmas Carol.
They left the school behind them. They were now in the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy passengers passed, where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way. It was made plain enough by the dressing of the shops that here too it was Christmas time again, but it was evening and the streets were lighted up. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door.
Know you this place?
Know it? I was apprenticed here.
They went in to the sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig, sitting behind such a high desk that if he had been 2 inches taller, he must have knocked his head against the ceiling.
Why, it's old Fezziwig. Oh, bless his heart. Oh, it's old Fezziwig alive again.
Yo there, Ebenezer! Yo-ho, Dick!
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Oh, bless me, yes, there he is. We were apprenticed together. Oh, he was very much devoted to me, was Dick. Oh, dear, dear.
Yo-ho, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson. Clear away, my lads, and let's have lots of room. Yo, Dick. Chirrup, Ebenezer.
It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off, the floor was swept, the lamps were trimmed, fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night.
Ah, the musicians! Make ready, gentlemen. But first, take some Christmas punch. Mrs. Fezziwig, my dear, punch for all.
In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast substantial smile. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young followers, whose hearts they broke. In came all the young men and women employed in the business.
Do you remember these folks, Scrooge?
Of course I do, each and every one.
How about that one, by the door?
Belle. Beautiful Belle.
A dance! A dance! Come, my dear, we shall lead them.
May I have the pleasure?
Of course, Ebenezer.
In they all came, and away they all went in a merry dance, 20 couples at once. But if they had been twice as many, 4 times, old Fezziwig would have been a match for them, and so would Mrs. Fezziwig, for she was a worthy partner in every sense of the term. If that's not high praise, tell me higher and I'll use it.
Fezzy!
A positive light appeared to issue from Fezziwig's calves. They shone in every part of the dance like moons. You couldn't have predicted at any given time what would become of them next. And when old Fezziwig and Mrs. Fezziwig had gone all through the dance, Fezziwig cut a caper so deftly that he appeared to wink with his legs and came upon his feet again without a stagger.
Well done, Mrs. Fezziwig. Well done.
Oh, Ebenezer, was there ever such a party?
Was there ever such food?
Was there ever such a master?
Never, never, never.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Why, is it not? He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4 perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?
Oh, it isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in words and looks, in things so slight and insignificant that it is impossible to add and count them up. What then? The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. Oh. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all.
My time grows short. Quick!
It matters little.
No, Spirit, conduct me hence.
To you, very little, Ebenezer.
No, not this Christmas.
Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you, Belle?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. All your other hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the chance of its sordid reproach. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off, one by one, until the master passion, gain, engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you, am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. until, in good season, we could improve our worldly fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you that you are not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now that we are two. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words, no, never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this promise had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now?
Yes. Yes, man.
Ah, no, then.
Speak, you fool! You fool!
You think not?
I would gladly think otherwise if I could, heaven knows. But if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? You, who weigh everything by gain? Or choosing her if for a moment you were false enough to your one guiding principle to do so? Do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you. With a full heart, for the love of him you once were. You may, that the memory of what is past half makes me hope you will, have pain in this. A very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly as an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No, no more. I don't wish to see it. Show me no more.
They were in another scene and place, a room not very large or handsome, but full of comfort. Near to the winter fire sat a beautiful young girl, so like that last that Scrooge believed it was the same, until he saw her, now a comely matron, sitting opposite her daughter. The noise in this room was perfectly tumultuous, for there were more children there, being uproarious beyond belief, but no one seemed to care. On the contrary, the mother and daughter laughed heartily and enjoyed it very much. In time, the master of the house arrived, and having his daughter leaning fondly on him, sat down with her and her mother at his own fireside. For the first time in his life, Scrooge thought that if such a creature, so graceful and full of promise, might have called him father, it would have been a springtime in the haggard winter of his life, and his sight grew very dim indeed.
Belle, I saw an old friend of ours this afternoon.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I?
I'll give you a hint. £20, £20 6, £20 6, and a farthing. Pooh! Pooh!
Oh, wait! I know! Mr. Scrooge?
Mr. Scrooge it was. And as I passed his office window, and as it was not shut up, and he had a candle inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death, I hear. And there he had sat alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I told you these were shadows of things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me, I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Scrooge observed that the ghost's light was burning high and bright, and dimly connecting that with its influence over him, he seized its hood and by a sudden action pulled it down upon its head. The spirit dropped beneath it, disappearing altogether, but the light continued to stream in an unbroken flood upon the ground. Scrooge was conscious of being exhausted and overcome by an irresistible drowsiness, and further of being in his own bedroom. As the light dissolved into darkness, he barely had time to reel to bed before he sank into a heavy sleep.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of A Christmas Carol, Stave 2, adapted for our radio production by Nancy Cates, from the classic novella by Charles Dickens. We would also like to recognize Technical Director Buddy Taylor, Managing Director and Sound Designer Tess Burgler, and Trevor Buda for writing and creating the original theme music for the Quarantine Radio program. Ohio Shakespeare is dedicated to creating these all-original classic radio plays throughout the remainder of 2020. Look for them live on our Facebook page each month. You can also listen to them at any time thereafter on our website at www.ohioshakespeare.com or find them at soundcloud.com/Ohio-Shakespeare-Festival. These radio plays will remain free to the public, and Ohio Shakespeare will continue to pay our collaborating artists. If you would like to support these efforts, please consider joining our Patreon. All monies raised on our Patreon platform go right back into paying local actors and playwrights to produce these all-original radio productions. Visit patreon.com/OhioShakes. That's www.patreon.com/OhioShakes. Tune in next time for Stave 3, the exciting continuation of the story. Until then, this is Avon Quarto saying good night, but I will leave you with these snippets from next week's episode.
Enter, Ebenezer Scrooge. Come in and know me better, man.
And who are you, pray?
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Have you never seen the like of me before?
Never.
Touch my robe and go with me.
Who are these people, Spirit?
Know you not the family of the man who has worked for you, lo, these many years?
Bob Cratchit? Are all these children his spirit?
They are his joy.
Why, it's my nephew Fred.
He has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink his health. Here is a glass of mulled wine ready to our hand at the moment, and I say, Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle
Scrooge. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is.
Go! Thank you. Thank you all.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Look to see me no more.